Hey everybody, we're here with another success story. I'm here with somebody that we don't even necessarily have a title for yet because this is a first for myself. So we're here with Jacolbi Salinas. She's a realtor. She is somebody that we work with here in Texas. And I would like to welcome you to our success story.
Thank you.
All right. So a little bit about Jacolbi and why I'm saying that there's not a real way to kind of identify you as somebody that I've worked with as a mentor is because you're one of the first people who have taken the information and had so much success with it that you don't need me anymore. So just to chronicle this, your 1 year anniversary just stopped last week.
Yes.
So officially we have no business to do as mentor and mentee.
Yes.
So let's start like this. We'll start a little bit in reverse, and then we'll go back and forth. So today we were in a meeting together. What was that meeting about?
A $1 million deal to acquire numerous properties and kind of how we can pool our money together to make this big transaction happen so that everybody comes together and eats. And I think that's kind of been like the motto of everything that you've done throughout the entirety of us working together is like inclusive of multiple people. So yeah.
So remember, I said contract expired a week ago, but we're still working together.
Yes.
But not as mentor-mentee, as partners, JV, as an investor. Because you are an investor now.
Yeah.
You got the crown.
I got the title now.
You earned the title, right? So let's do this. Let's take it back.
Okay.
You remember the first time we met? You want to tell that story?
I had just joined Julian's team, and I had acquired a property, and so he was like, "Hey, me and my partner are gonna come look at it, right?" So he's like, "Man, you know, he's speaking really big of you, like, hey, he's this great guy, he does great things, like, you know, he does lots of deals," and I'm hyped. I'm like, "Oh, like this is exciting, right?" And you pull up with like some regular car, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm thinking like, oh man, this man about to like pull up, and you pull up in some regular car, and I'm like, okay, you know, all right, like it's a little different. And then you get out and you're in your J's and hey, your entrepreneur outfit, like you like to say, right? And then you know, we start walking the property, and you start immediately breathing life, you know, feeding into like the passion and the things, and it's just very easy to see it, like when you speak about it, like you're high energy about it. And so I think you kind of like fed that into me. And then I remember we kind of walked in and you started telling me stories, and I'm like, wow, awesome, really? And you're like, yeah, really, like, look, let me show you something. And you showed me like 4 million in an account, and I was like, oh my God, like
We're gonna edit it out.
I ain't never seen nothing like that, right? So you showed me your account, and I'm just like, oh wow, like, okay, I ain't never seen someone like that. And then I think you pulling up in that car had even more meaning at that moment, because it was like, this man can pull up in anything, but he pulled up in this. And I think it spoke a lot on your character and like who you are, and it's more so of like wealth building, right? Like and you fed that throughout the duration of the course, like, hey, you know, you don't need to buy, like, you can, you know, buy a rental instead of buying like this big luxurious house. And just things like that, to like not portray the look, but to live the life on the back end. And so yeah, from that moment, I think I already knew immediately after our first visit, like, okay, yeah, this is somebody that I would work with.
So we met in that house, we were working, you had the deals, you started working with Julian. Fast forward, we probably didn't see each other probably for a few months.
Yeah, it was a while before I saw you again.
Okay. So you said you wanted to join Julian's team, you started working that way, and then maybe we had a couple more interactions. A few months later, we started having more discussions. What made you feel like you wanted to sign up, or what was it where it was the realtor versus the mentor? Because I think what happens a lot of times is people think Julie and I are symbiotic because we're both kind of working together. But he's more real estate based and I'm more investor based, and we have a nice mesh. So what was it that made you want to work with HA Homes?
Reality is that most realtors don't necessarily know investment side, right? So I've been a realtor 5 years now, and I can tell you for the first 4, I wasn't very educated on the investment side. So I think after like seeing you and Julian talking, and we went to some other properties to walk them, and like you're throwing numbers out there like, oh yeah, we're gonna acquire at this. I'm immediately like, oh, I know the market value of this house. Like, you're gonna get it at that price? Like, wow. And then you're like, okay, we're gonna put this number of work in, and like this is our return. And I'm thinking like, what? Like, you can do that? Like, hold on, like. That's something that I want for myself. And so when you did offer like the mentorship, I was like, oh yeah, I'm in. Like, that's a no-brainer for me, because like my mind's been expanded now. Like, now I'm thinking bigger, right? Like, I'm not just thinking like, oh, I can get a 3% commission. Now I'm like, I can run across houses all the time that, you know, different situations where I'm like, okay, I could utilize this knowledge. And so ultimately, that's a service that I did to myself, was to hire you so that you could give me that knowledge that you've acquired, you know, over the duration of your long career, you know. And I'm always one of those people who's like, I don't have to go through every experience if I can like kind of take what someone else has already done and been through and feed off of that. And so that was my goal when I came to you to work with you, like, hey, save me from all the mistakes.
Right, you stand on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah.
You don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
So I agree with that.
Uh-huh.
You were already excelling in terms of working as a realtor,
Mm-hmm.
and correct me if I'm wrong, you did a lot better working with Julian.
Oh yes, 100%. So I would say I had some level of success as a realtor, but definitely not the level that I see this year. So even in my real estate business, I definitely see an increase. So yeah,
Right.
both simultaneously, right?
Right. So you're doing all right, you're doing better,
Mm-hmm.
then you learn the investment side, and now it's...
Oh yeah.
Right. Okay, so now let's
What
talk...
did I say, to the moon?
Right. So now let's say this.
Uh-huh.
Let's talk our first JV, our
Okay.
first deal.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you brought a deal,
Mm-hmm.
and you gave us the opportunity to profit share and do all this and that, and you remember that? Do you want to talk about that? Or?
Yeah, sure. I had just got my first lead, right? I call him and I'm like, oh yeah, can we lock this property up? You want me to say the numbers? Cause
The numbers are public.
Okay.
So you can say whatever
so
it is.
we locked it up at 65,000, right? And so immediately I'm knowing the numbers on this property, right? Because I work real estate, so I'm like, oh man, like I think I had only been calling for 2 months at this time, maybe even a month. Like it was fast that I got my first one. And so I was like, oh man, like, okay, what do I do? What's next, right? And then I think I brought it to y'all, and we kind of sat at the table and we talked numbers, and it's like, okay, let's get in there now and like see like a real number, like where exactly we're gonna be at. And then we started to get the numbers, and it was like, man, this is a killer first deal. So it was super exciting for me, and we ended up closing it out at 175, and I think we only put about 15,000 into that property. So it was an amazing deal. I mean, the house was good. Foundation had already been fixed. Like, I almost was like, are you sure? Like, are you sure you want to, right? So it was great. It was exciting. Like, and I think that's really what started the trajectory of everything else, right? Because it was like, man, if that's possible, like, what else is possible for me this year? And, you know, it's been up since then.
We ran through the numbers, and like most people, it's almost like a new religion.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to change how you look at things,
Mm-hmm.
and you're looking at one number versus number, this, that, and the third. When we first got the deal, because it was your deal,
Mm-hmm.
so she didn't have to bring us into the deal. You could have sold, somebody else made some money, this, that, and the third. We had those discussions with a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm a very adamant person. Like, I'm a need to know type of person. I think I portrayed that in that first thing. Like, wait, why?
Right.
Why? Yeah.
So we had that discussion. We came to an agreement
Yes.
to make the deal happen. What was the agreement that we had to come to make the deal?
Brought in an investor, and I think your logic behind that was like, with the more people that eat, the more you have camaraderie. And I think that was something that you preached like from the beginning, right? Everybody
Always.
eats. Everybody eats. Like, and even at the first deal we walked that day, you're like, everybody eats. Like, hey, y'all want to sell these things online? Like, go ahead and you can eat a piece of the pie, even if that's all you can invest right now. Like,
Right.
You were very inclusive like that. So, so we brought in the investor, and then we split between me and you. Well, Julie and you, and then me. So, but it was 2 ways.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And then you took an advance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I decided to take an advance. So, I took the commission up front on the purchase, which was $5,000. And so I took the advance on the property, and then you guys came in at the end. We closed out the deal, and then we split proceeds.
Right.
Yeah.
The reason why I tried to talk Jacolbi out of taking an advance is because the more money in the pot, the more money you have to work with.
Yeah.
Me having a certain understanding, maybe also myself being in a certain position, I was like, this is the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reasons, you can share if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Jacolbi's like, no, I need some money up front.
Yeah, no, I'm like, I'm taking the money up front. So, you know, it was December, like my car just broke down. I was like, no, like I definitely want to take something off the front. Like I want to take something off the front. And you were like, okay, look, you want to take it, it's your deal. Like you want to take it off the front, go ahead and take it off the front. So I was like, yeah, I'm taking it off. I'm taking it off the front for sure, 100%. And I think I kind of told you, like, you know, I definitely need to take it off the front just to feel more comfortable. And you were like, okay, 100%. If that's what you want to do, like, we'll make it happen. And so at closing, I got a commission right off the front. And I think that was December of last year.
Yeah.
Literally December of last year. We closed it out January.
Close fast.
Yeah, it was December that it was acquired, and we started that. Yeah, so wow, 1 year, exactly.
Yeah, I'll tell you the contract, we're going to put the timestamp on this. Today is what, the 19th?
19th, yeah.
The contract expired, I think, 10 days ago, a week and a half ago. Like,
Yes.
It just literally just, this is like 375 days in.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's perfect timing.
Yeah,
I thank you for making, and even saying yes. A lot of people are like, I want to be on camera, whatever.
Yeah, no,
So I
it's
appreciate
okay.
that. I appreciate that.
Of course.
So now, that was your first flip.
Yes, that was my first flip.
Okay, and then we JV'd.
Yes.
Okay, now we haven't JV'd on the flip since.
No.
Is that your last flip?
No, 100% no.
Oh, well look at that. Would you mind sharing how many?
Flipped 10, and then we wholesaled as well this year. So I actually had a partner. So I kind of just took what you did. I found a partner, somebody that we fed off of each other's energy, and we just took it and ran with it, right? So it's like, hey, I know if I can do that now. I'm a very I like the experience, you know, so like I can come to you for like, hey, what should I not do? But I might do it anyways, because that's just the kind of person I am, you know. So I think from there it was like the next deal was maybe 2 months later that I got Ridgevia. So great numbers on that one too, like, and great, like it had just finished being a rental, like it was rented out. It just needed a little bit of, you know, tender love and care, and immediately got on the market and did great numbers. And I was like, oh man, like, you know, once it gets started, you get excited because you're like, oh, I can do this, like I can do this. And then from there it was like the next one, and then we have like 4 at one time, and I'm just like, no, we got 4, like I'm going here and here and here, like we got 4 at one time that we're flipping. And it's just like so exciting to see them transition from, you know, one thing to like a completely different home, and you're walking through it like, wow, like this is me, you know, like I did this, like it's exciting. So yes, since then we haven't worked on another deal, but it was just like, hey, thank you, now I'm gonna go out there and work, you know, I'm gonna put in the work now, like I'm gonna take what you gave me and I'm gonna run with it. So that's exactly what I do. Yeah.
Can I ask you one more question?
Mm-hmm.
What's the significance of where we're doing this interview?
This is my first long-term rental, actually, that I acquired all in the same year. So the numbers on this one were amazing. I could flip if I wanted to, but I'm in the position now where I don't have to build capital. Right now, I'm in a position where I can build wealth. And that alone is life-changing for me. Like, you know, I'm not building capital anymore. I'm not building the rich is, right? I'm building wealth now, and that's just great for me. Like, I think you can see, like, it makes me feel full, right? Excited. But definitely this is my rental, right? Like, look at it.
We'll show some. It's a beautiful home. So what, a 4.3, 4.2.5,
4.2.5.
4.2.5, 2-car garage, nice neighborhood. The rent, I'm sure, is gonna be amazing.
Amazing.
We walked it off. There's not too much to it, so you have a steal.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that changed. Well, why did all that change? What changed in a year?
Oh, 100% my mentality. 100, like, if I could say anything changed, it's the way that I thought about everything. Like, I completely rearranged my mentality from like living in lack and like living like when is my next check coming, to more so living in service, right? Because like I see you and Julian who are feeding people life, life for real. Like you're making a difference not only in people's financial life, but the mental stimulation that you get from seeing somebody who's much like yourself or coming from where you come from, doing these things, right? Because I think you have to almost see yourself like in other people, and then you can emulate that and mirror that back, in a new way. And so 100% it's been my mentality that's changed. I don't look like, I hope I get a deal. It's like, man, we're gonna go make some deals happen today. And it's exciting, it feels your passion. Like I wake up excited now, and that's forever what I'm most grateful for, right? Is just seeing somebody do something, someone like me do something more and something bigger, and give me that passion and that fuel that I was lacking for a really long time, right? And I remember coming to Julian's team, and I asked him one day, like, man, I just don't know if like I'm loving real estate. And he's like, you want to know you don't love real estate? And I'm like, well, he's like, because you ain't making the money you should be. I'm like, damn, okay. Like, hey, look, I feed off of that. So I was like, you ain't lying. Like, I'm trying to be like you. So I just kind of replay that, like, I can do more, I can be better, and I see it right in front of me. And it's so important for you to be able to see that. And it's like I talk about the 4-minute mile, like it's so much like that. Like just to see someone doing the things that you never even thought were possible for you, it kind of breaks the barrier, like to where you're like, oh damn, I'm limitless. Like I have potential, but I'm also showing up for the work, which makes me limitless. Like what can't I achieve now? So definitely a mindset shift from lack to abundance, and abundance in every part of my life now, because hey, I don't lie, money makes a difference, Money makes a difference, but don't make us different. Isn't that like a quote, right? Definitely makes a difference in the way you show up in life. Like when you don't have to stress about paying bills and things like that, you have room and space to just worry about life, who you are, how you show up, and who you want to be in this world. So that's definitely been like a big drastic change in my life, like 100%.
Yeah, I always say money doesn't make you, money amplifies who you are as a person.
Yeah, exactly.
So, we do well, or we do okay, and then we give back money. We do okay, so instead of saying, we're going to take the deals for ourselves, we're going to bring people in, teach them the game, and if it comes back, it comes back, but it's really about just putting out that good energy back.
It's 100% service, and even that's what's changed in my real estate career is like, it wasn't about getting a commission no more. It's like, how can I help this person to feel better or more fulfilled? And even when I mentor now and feed into other people, it's like, hey, I ain't no better than you. Like, you could do this just like I can. Like, you just have to have the shift, the change within you, and you can do this too. Like, so that's being able to give, even if it's not 100% financial all the time, but you giving so much of yourself, like your spirit, away to somebody else and feeding them and helping them grow. Like, that's the best feeling for me, 100%.
So thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Now, is there anything that everybody's experience is different in terms of the mentorship? People ask me all the time, what do you it's totally tailored to the person. So is there anything you have that kind of hallmarks our year together or anything like that?
Yes. So I'll say that day that, I don't know if you remember, we were sitting in the office and you were kind of showing me some numbers of like, what's possible. And I remember you kind of looking at me and you're like, yeah, man, those little pearls in your ears, like one day those gonna be diamonds. And I'm like, damn, are they? Like I can't even see that vision for myself yet, And so you kind of just, like I said, just open my mind up to like abundance. And it's like once your mind is expanded, you're able to grow to the level that you grow, right? So your outward experience is really subjective to your internal experience. And I think once I grew and like had that vision for myself, like seeing you say that about me, it made me look in the mirror and be like, am I living up to my full potential? Like, am I doing the most that I can? And I'm like, no, like 100%, I'm not. Like, I know I can do even better. And then just changing that mentality has, changed the trajectory of every aspect of my life, but definitely the financial, right? Like my real estate has definitely increased, at least 3 times over just in real estate, not even to say, flipping or wholesaling or any of those other things that I've done. like this property, you know, this property. So we talked about like pulling 5, you know, taking 5 up front. And I came to you the other day and I'm like, hey man, like I got $100 grand in this house. Like, should I pull 100? Like, should I pull 100 and take that and buy, you know, more houses and avoid like OPM fees? Like, should I do that? Or should I just let this marinate in here? Like, do you need it? Do you need it? Like, nah, nah, man, like, I don't necessarily need it. So that's life changing, right? To like be able to look around and be like, hey, I don't need it. I'll let the money sit, you know, simmer,
Right.
simmer. And I can pull what I want to if I need to. And even when we talked about that other deal, like leverage, like, oh well, I got $100K in there. Like, what do I want to do? You know, so it's definitely life changing. Like, man, all I can say is like, thank you, you know, because just as you can see the shift, right?
Right.
The shift, yeah.
Right.
Right. The shift, yeah.
Right. Well, I appreciate you first off for giving me the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you for taking the time to share your story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those like bittersweet kind of things,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, it's dope. Don't sign up again.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when people say that, you know, it's like, are you still working with Jacolbi? Because you know, we know a lot of the same people now.
Yeah.
I was like, I used to work with Jacolbi. Like, ask. Don't ask me, ask other people. And it's like, but like, you know, we probably not gonna work together no more. And people instantly go to like that negativity, like,
Yeah.
and then we interact and like, but damn, y'all cool. I mean, but she don't need me anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so why would she pay me for my time if she's doing what she got her money's worth? So.
Well, I'll say, hey, look, there's some things that I'm never like, hey, my man is a mathematician, right? Like, hey, so I learned a lot. Like, I learned different avenues from you. You know, like, you could do this, hey, you could do this. Like, there's this way. And so a lot of things that I have in my pocket, but then it's like, hey, man, what numbers make better sense for me? And like, I remember you always be like, hey, what's this times this? And then I'll be calculating, you give the answer all out. I'm like, I didn't even do my calculator yet. Like, the human calculator over here. So definitely, there's definitely benefits of still working with you because, you know, I see those. So I just don't necessarily 100% need it all the time, but I might consider it. So we don't say never is what I like to say.
I won't be accepting any more money in 2022. And for the people who understand why I'm saying that, you're probably already a client. For the people who don't, you might want to sign up. So with that being said, thank you again. And thank you for sharing all the stories and being honest. I'm going to say one more thing about the earring story. Everybody gets the conversation that they need. So Jacolbi's motivated by a certain kind of conversation. And we were talking about the rich things. And it was like, man, you could get that. So it wasn't a negative way.
No, it wasn't. I even told you,
yeah.
it fueled me in a positive way.
Yeah, you know, so everybody gets what they need, and that's what a good coach does, and as long as everybody's successful. So we'll close out like this. Y'all know me, y'all know my information. Subscribe to the video, like it, share it, comment, do whatever. If they want to get in contact with you, how do they reach out?
You can reach me on Instagram at The Blooming Entrepreneur, and then on Facebook at Jacolbi Salinas. Yay!
Peace. Thanks for tuning in.